Welcome, welcome everyone to the second session of Arkpoint here at the College of Inspiration. I am your host for this wonderful tale. I am Cosmo, Bard of Hosting. Here at the College of Inspiration, we are a bunch of people who are going to play some D&D, and this is our second session of our first official campaign set in the city of Arkpoint, a fantasy noir adventure with some fabulous friends of mine as the players. Some quick announcements. Our emotes are working, so to anyone who has subscribed, please check those out. We are very proud of them. Amazing art, once again, by our fabulous Bard of Lore, Scarlet Song. Also, she has done all the character art and the animations that you see in this ongoing campaign. And our NPC art is done by our wondrous friend Eldritch Flatcap, who you can check out. Links are in the chat there for both of their socials. The players won't be watching chat to maintain immersion, but I will be, and our mod will be paying attention, so, keep it civil, please. So I trust you all. You're all fabulous. I don't think there's anything else to say, so I will quickly go through our players after I just hop behind the bar. First up, we have the wonderful Scarlet, who I just mentioned, playing Miss Cotter. Scarlet, can you tell us who you are and where people can find you?
Hello, my name is Scarlet Song. You can find me at twitch.tv/ScarletSong_. You can also find me in a variety of other places, too many to mention, quite frankly. Also on Patreon, if you'd like to check that out.
Yes.
Today I will be playing Miss Cotter.
Now, Scarlet's Patreon, if you're a fan of really fun character art and adventures, please give that a look. It is amazing work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next up, we have JuniperFinch. Juniper?
Hey everyone. Today I will be reprising my role as Janus Amberwood, a sprightly young noble man with a taste for getting punched in the face, apparently. You'll be able to find me in the College of Inspiration Discord. I'll be around if you need me.
Thank you, Janus. No, thank you, Juniper. Good character.
Thank you.
Next up, fellow bard at the college, Bard of Creation, Rain.
Hi, I'm Rain. I'm one of the lovely bards at this college, amongst my very lovely co-bards. I'll be playing Scoop this session, the ever so astute and studious Dragonborn Snoop. Hope to have a lot of fun session with you guys.
Plan to make it fun. And at the end of the lineup, that's kind of like a police lineup, isn't it? Interesting. Alexander.
Hello, everybody. My name's Alexander, he, him, and thank you for allowing me once again on your stream to play the character of the accountant. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here, Alexander. And with introductions out of the way, let's get started. Last time, in Arkpoint, rumors were circulating of trouble going down on Riverside. The Dragonborn Private Eye Scoop was asked by a friend in the Watch to investigate the problems that red tape had barred them from investigating themselves. The accountant of the Otello family crime syndicate and his new apprentice, the young noble Janus Amberwood, were ordered to find out if there was a racket being run on their territory. And the maid of the Sanguis household, Miss Cotter, was witness to a shakedown in a local butcher shop. And as they all found themselves congregating together, a fire broke out. They caught eyes of each other. And that's where we find ourselves. You guys have just ran into each other. So what has happened is there's actually this requires, I think, a change in music. There we go. So, you guys were all on your own. Well, not necessarily on your own, but you were hanging out. You were doing all your own things in North Riverside, investigating rumors of a protection racket that seemed to be inflicted on the shop owners and other places of business. You were witness to some ruffians seeming to threaten or cause damage to these places to get money or something. And as you were all looking into it yourselves, you heard a big ruckus, some shouting, some yelling, a large bang or explosion of some kind, and smoke coming from a nearby street. You all rushed towards the source of this, and that's where we find ourselves. There's what seems to be a small cafe. Is basically the whole, like, part of the shop front is just a light. Who wants to jump in?
I got this.
You brought him?
Hey guys! Janus is beaming, waving his hand above his head with great enthusiasm.
Halt! We need to talk. Did you start this fire?
We just
no,
got
we just
here.
got here.
I think you'll understand. Miss Cotta does not look like this.
Oh.
She looks very different. In fact, a lot more on earnest than
Sorry, there we go.
this current sass, the current sass coming out of this very happy, perky face.
My apologies.
Who's glaring daggers at the accountant, but turns towards the more desperate situation, which is a cafe on fire. What?
Yes. You hear help from inside. And
My God.
someone runs up to you and is like, they're trapped inside. They're the owner.
Wait.
Wow.
Oh,
I would like to charge into the building.
Yes, I also would like to charge into the building.
Okay.
I go to turn to Janus to tell him to charge into the building, and he's just already gone.
oh, I suppose I've got a citizen that I'm talking to right now.
Yeah, it's just seems to be
What?
a panicked.
Why did they come to
person.
me as a point of
Well,
authority?
they just came to the group of you.
All right. If they just came to the group, then Miss Connor
Because
is
you
also
guys all rushed up with a sense
into
of
the building.
purpose, so they seem to be like, hey, these guys seem to be here for a reason.
Civilians run up. Who would you ask for help?
So, can I confirm that Scoop, Janus, and Miss Cotter have run into the building and I'm left with the citizen?
Yes, that seems to be the case.
Wait, no. You stay here. It's dangerous in there. The professionals will take care of this. And my friend here.
I look down at this. I look down at this civilian. Could you please tell me what has happened here?
Well, there was these guys, and they got into an argument with the person in the cafe, and then one of them started a fire, and then they ran off.
Quickly just assessing the fire. How long does, like, we were here when it exploded, right?
You were sort of like a block or two away.
Like, well within earshot though, right? Like, I would know that it's exploded, like, what, 30 seconds ago?
Yeah, 30 seconds to a minute, yeah.
Which way did they run?
Down that alley. They point to an alley, sort of.
Okay.
Across the,
How do the
across
others
way.
look as they've run off into the building?
Well, warm. How do the others look as they run into this building? The fire is surprisingly large for how little time it's been supposedly
Alright,
going. It's like covered up half the front of the cafe, and there seems to be there's like basically the front door seems to have like a beam has fallen down across the front of the door, like from the inside.
And can we hear where any sort of voices, or if anybody is, like, can we hear shouting and screaming?
You hear shouting and screaming from the inside. There seems to be you can make out maybe 2 people in there.
Whoever, I don't know who gets to the door first, but
Let's roll initiative.
given, is there any source? Ooh,
Sounds good to me.
It's a good way to determine order.
It's really messes that poll.
oh, I forgot that I took that. I will also probably mention that is there ask for if there's any sources of water?
Not super close nearby. Like
The
it's
entire river might be a little far.
yeah, the river is a few blocks over.
Alright.
And yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you see
gather
some
initiative, I
people sort of running away from this whole situation, but a few others, like a few citizens, just seem to be like standing back but watching this whole situation in confusion, interest, and
in a little time.
yeah, they're just like, what the fuck is gonna happen? So what was everyone's?
19 on my
6.
end.
Oh. 18 for Janus.
Okay,
9 for the accountant.
cool. That works. What up? Yes. Fuel. So first person to get to this door is Miss Cotter.
Alright, how big's the beam, and is it something I can jump or crawl under?
You can attempt to, yes. It
Okay,
would- it is
on fire?
Yeah, it is on fire. That there's a space you could possibly squeeze like through, because it's sort of diagonally across the door, with some splinters and like bits of broken wood sticking out of it. So you have to be careful.
So, I think, just to clarify, things have exploded outwards.
Yeah, it sort of seems like an explosion happened sort of inside
Within-
the cafe.
Right, and
Causing-
everything exploded outwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any, and there's no sources of water visible?
You can give me a quick perception check, but
That's 16.
Nothing significant, like, there's people's drinks maybe around, but nothing like a large source of water in the nearby vicinity.
That's not what I was after.
Oh.
Mainly because I was wanting to find something to dip my cardigan into, so I have some sort of minor protection, but instead I'm going to turn to Janus.
He's right behind
Like, hesitate? Hesitate? Oh, for fuck's sake. And I'm gonna take out my umbrella and get that prepared as I am going to try and push underneath. It's like, see if you can break this down.
Yep.
As you start to crawl, Janus is just gonna put his hand on your shoulder and be like, give me a sec. Steps past you and gives the beam a good solid heel kick. Hoping
Alright.
the beam itself or something, whatever it's lodged on, gives way.
Sure. Attack roll.
I don't mind holding my action for that.
Oh, an attack. Yay. Do I have proficiency bonus on my feet?
You've been working with the account.
Sure, let's just throw that dice on the floor.
It was a bad roll anyway.
Third time's the charm. Alright. That's an 8.
Oh. Yeah, the beam seems solidly lodged in there. You don't budge it or break it in any sense. You don't hurt yourself doing this yet, though.
Excellent. Extra attack, let's go.
I was about to say.
Okay. Oh,
This Connor's eyebrow just solidly goes up.
Oh, come on. Right, that dice going to jail. No. That's another 8.
the exact same thing happened. You
Alright,
pick it and...
can I please?
Yeah.
No good.
In that case, if I've been pulled back and I've been forced to hold my turn, I'm just going to be like, oh, for fluff's sake, and just I'd like to pull out the handle of my umbrella and slice this in two, please.
Okay.
With the umbrella behind me like a parasol.
Yeah, so she...
block any of you.
Miss Cotter opens up her umbrella and puts it over her sting, twists the handle part of it, and unsheathes this elegant-looking blade from the length of the umbrella. And...
Which none of us can see.
Because you're blocked, conveniently. Yes, I'd like
yeah,
to...
all the citizens only see you or hold this umbrella behind you.
You know, for protection.
Yeah.
From the heat. Ooh. So the first attack, for anyone who voted in the poll, it's a 1.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Which is a total of 9. Sorry, it was a total of 6, which is not quite enough.
No, very much not so.
The second attack, however, is a... I think I find the same spot Janus does, and I'm like, oh, bloody hell, this actually is quite tough. And then the second one is a 23.
Okay. Roll some damage on that.
It is a... Oh gosh, math. 9.
9. You bring your blade down on this beam. You cut maybe almost halfway through it, but it's weakened, but it's still in the way.
Can I pop a smite?
Sure.
I'd like to pop a smite, thank you.
Okay.
There are people in danger, and there is no way in hell Miss Cotter is gonna let that happen. That's an additional 15 damage.
Yeah. So the blade sinks in through this wooden beam and seems to only get halfway through, and Miss Connor just is not allowing this to happen, and through just be it sheer force of will, I guess, forces the blade all the way through, and the beam snaps in two.
Alright, and then I suppose, if I can resheath and then try to make my way with the umbrella as a block.
Sure. Yeah.
That'll be my turn, depending on how far I can get. I feel like I've done a lot already, so.
Yeah. We'll stop there. Where
Must be
no, it's the accountant.
must be the accountant.
Okay, so looking at this,
So you just watched
I
Janus
feel
run
pretty
up.
confident
Yeah.
that they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this person that I'm with said the people who started this fire headed off down that alleyway, right?
Yeah, basically on the opposite side of the street, ran down an alley.
All right. Okay. The accountant calls out to Janus, and he says,
Find the people in there. Get them out when you can. I'll find who started this.
and I'm going to set pace and try and find those people. And I'm going to run after them. I will also use my Step of the Wind, which means I can move about 120 around. Because
Nice.
I couldn't count before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start going down this way, and I'd like to try and find these people.
Okay. We'll need. So you get through the alley and it just comes out. So it branches off a couple of, like, about halfway down the alley. It branches off on either side and continues forward through to the street on the other side of the block. Give me, I guess, an investigation. To figure out which way they may have ran.
7.
7. You're not you're not sure which way they could have gone.
How much movement do I have left down this alleyway? I don't know how big it was.
You probably got about half your movement left.
I'd like to try and get a better vantage point so I can see if I can spot 2 people running away.
Yep. You're gonna go vertical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, look, my oh. Okay, just quickly. Okay. 16, 32, 64 plus 10. I think I have a 74 jump because I've used Step of the Wind.
What?
I'm not 100% on that.
Jumping.
It might be close.
I'll admit.
Because I'm running. It's not a standing vert, it's a running vert. Which is why it's...
Which is.
And then I flat double my jump because
of Step
of the Wind.
Yeah.
So I could be counting that wrong. I'll double check after this. So if not, I think it'll be about 40. Is that enough to get to a tallish build, like climb up to a tall building and see if I get a better perception?
A lot of these buildings are multi-story. You could get up to. You see maybe like a fire escape that you could probably reach.
Yep.
The irony.
Excellent. In that case, I'd just like to use the rest of my movement to start getting to the top of the nearest building that I think would work as a vantage point.
Yep.
It's
And
about
that's me.
4 stories. 40 feet straight up is about 4 stories. That's nuts.
I'm really tall. What can I say?
He's got strong legs.
Don't skip leg day, kids. This is why.
You'll make it to the top of the building. Start of your next turn, I'll say. And we'll move on to Scoop.
All right. So the beam's now out of the way.
Yes. Miss Cotta and Janus are sort of standing by the doorway.
I think you'll find it's Miss Cutter at the moment.
Miss Cutter.
Well, that seems appropriate.
All right.
Yes,
I'll put
and
my
I cut the door down and I stepped in.
living up to your name.
Oh, she stepped in.
I'll take my flat cap and press it over my snout
Right.
to block from smoke inhalation, and I'll use an action to become immune to fire for a minute, using my draconic ancestry.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
Nice.
I'll use my bonus action to dash, and I'm going to rush in and search for the shop runner.
Yep. Give me a quick perception check. Just
Andy.
Yeah.
Deception. What is my plus deception?
All right, so that's 24.
Right. Yeah. You immediately. So, a lot of the tables and chairs that were in this place have been like knocked around and splintered and are on fire. Behind like the back counter, which is pretty heavily damaged, you see another beam has fallen on top of a tabaxi person. They're like waving, they're like help, and
Right.
in like what looks to be like the kitchen behind them, in the doorway, like this. So this beam has fallen on top of this person and is covering the doorway, and you see someone else trying to budge that out of the way.
So there are 2 people that I can sense.
Yes, there are 2 people you can sense in this. You can see in this place.
I'm gonna give a shout out specifically to Janus. Janus, I see 2 people in here. I need your help.
On it!
I'll run to the 2 of them and try to interpose myself between any flames or falling beams.
Yep.
And I'll end my turn.
Sounds good. I'm gonna give a quick. Okay. As you do, give me a dexterity saving throw.
And do.
And Miss Cotter too, because you said you walked into the.
I also have my umbrella out. I said I was using it to block things, so
Yeah.
what do?
I'll give you a +2 to the saving throw. As if it was
19
a shield.
on my end.
That be a natural 20.
Interesting. Sorry, what was that, Scoop?
19.
19.
Full throw though is a natural 20 +3.
Yep.
I don't have high hopes for Janus's roll when he gets in there.
Scoop, you see some of the sort of plaster wall collapse down, but you manage to like push it aside as it falls towards you, and you're immune to fire damage, so you take nothing. And Miss Cotter, some of the roof starts falling on you and just slides off your umbrella, making a weird sound for an umbrella with wood hitting it.
Decline clone.
And we're back to the top of the order, Miss Cotter.
Alright, so Scoop is currently handling and there's somebody stuck behind a door.
Yeah, so there's
Do I see
like sort of this cross beam has fallen down, is pinned someone just behind the counter, and is also blocking the door to the kitchen.
I will say that probably once she's stepped inside, she has put the hat in her basket so it doesn't damage.
Yep.
Or it doesn't get damaged or get set on fire. So probably
So,
standard.
No, actually,
No
that would
hat,
be
yes.
no hat. Yeah, there we go.
Yep. And so she steps through, and upon seeing it's the 2 things that I'm looking for are: is there kind of the equivalent of a tap or a faucet that I can attempt to like knock out and see if I can, because I'm not too sure how the water works in Arkpoint. Because if there's the equivalent of a tap,
give me a quick perception check in here.
18.
18. Yeah. You see what looks like was like a water dispenser for people to get water and stuff, sort of on the corner opposite you. So like the door you come in is on one corner of the room, directly opposite you towards the back room. There seems to be like a little a drinking fountain almost.
Just a drinking fountain, like a.
Yeah, but
Or-
like it's a like a little tap for people to fill up glasses of water, but it looks like there's a pipe going into the wall.
All right. I shout behind me, Janus, make sure you're safe. And I'm going to attempt to kick down that door, open up the door where that one that can't get out is.
Yep. Yeah, you plenty of movement to make it across the room.
Oh.
Give me, you're just gonna attack the...
I'm honestly aiming to see if there's any weak points, because this thing's been burning for a bit, right? So is there any signs that there's structural damage in the wood?
Yeah, if you want to...
I'd like to aim for that.
Yep. I'll give you +2 to the roll for looking for weak points specifically.
14.
14? That is just too low.
Are you kidding me? Is the DC 15
I don't know,
for
maybe.
a beam?
Well, it's
Again?
not just the beam. It's like it's to
Not
do
just the
damage.
beam.
It's to do damage to the beam. Inanimate objects.
All right,
have an AC.
well, I guess I'm going to be doing the thing again.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Okay. That hits.
No shitty critty.
Yes.
So that's 10 plus.
A D8.
Where are my d8s? Ooh. 16 points of damage to
Yeah.
the beam.
So, you come at this beam. The person behind it stands back as you swing a weapon at it, and you
My umbrella.
slice through
It's my brother.
one of the weakened sections of it, and it breaks almost all the way, enough that the person behind like gives it a good shove, and it just snaps, and they're like, "Thank you." And they
Don't mention it, really.
they turn to the other person trapped under the beam and like start trying to help get that off them. Janus.
Right.
You're muted.
Thank you. Gonna pull Janus's tunic sleeves down past his hands so he doesn't burn them on whatever he's about to do next, because this is gonna probably end badly. And he's gonna run into where this sort of cross beam is. Now, how is this roughly positioned? Like, is it up on top of something, or like directly on top of the person, or?
It was sort of like directly on top of the person, sort of wedged between, like, it sort of wedged between them and the counter, and it was like hanging from the roof in a sense, like it was still wedged up there, but now it's been broken, so it's just like a chunk of wood sort of on top of them. It shouldn't be too hard to get it off them now.
Yep, I'm just gonna head up next to it, grab a spot that doesn't look like it's particularly on fire, and lift this thing off and
Yeah.
sort of
Give me
shove it to the side.
Give me a strength check.
Well, that's more like it. 17.
No, you lift this up enough, like you don't throw it off them, but you lift it to the point that they can get out from under it, and then you drop it back down again.
Yep.
And like you, like, oh, thank you. And they start making their way to the front door.
Is there anyone else inside?
No, it's just the two of us left in here.
Right, we better get going.
They nod, and yeah, everyone makes their way to the exit.
I might stay behind.
Okay.
Me too, actually.
Okay.
You got this, Janus. Take with safety.
Janus gets as far as the door, looks back, gives a sort of questioning expression. Okay.
He's right there.
Some flaming debris falls on Scoop and he doesn't flinch. I'm fine.
I put my umbrella over him, so we just look like we're standing in a fire rain.
Man, is that picturesque?
Fire.
And Janus is going to make sure these two civilians make it outside safely.
Yeah.
Preferably out into the street, but nothing's going to fall on them.
Yep. Potentially. And we move across the street and up on top of the roof of a nearby building. And
Also, apologies, I was wrong. It's not 60. It's exactly 39 or 40. So there you go. That's my vote.
fair enough. It was enough
yeah.
to get up, and you could just walk the stairs up the rest of the way. So,
All right. So from atop the building now, do I have a better vantage point? Can I see where these people have gone?
yeah, I'd say roll me a perception check for this one,
Right.
as you're just looking for a specific.
17.
Ooh. Yeah, you see two people, running in opposite directions.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Is one of them closer than the other one?
Yes, slightly. The one who seems to have a dark reddish skin and a leather jacket one seems to.
Can you give me a description of it? So that's one of them. Can you describe the other one if I can get a good enough look?
Yeah, the other one is just a dark-skinned human wearing a rough, like, sleeveless tunic.
All right. In that case, yeah, I'll continue chasing. I'll chase after the one who's marginally closer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to run after them, if possible, like continuing along the rooftops where I can.
Sure. Give me an athletics check for the rooftop run.
Athletics.
Because this is not a.
Natty 20, son.
Oh. Oh.
Just like these huge.
20s.
I am collateral damaging right now, but I would like to try and make up some distance on this
Yep.
individual.
Is Step of the Wind still active, or
How far away is this person? Is the question then?
give me some quick maths here. What's like 500 feet? They've been running.
I'm going to just keep after them without spending that for now, so that'll be a consistent 80.
Yeah. You do seem to be going at a faster pace than them. And they are just sort of running down the street that you are on a block of. You may have a problem when you come to the end of the block.
And what problem might that be? As I look ahead.
Well, you may have to get down from this building or try to get across the street somehow.
I'm so excited. Alright, well, I think that's going to be my turn for now anyway. It's just
Yes.
like using all my movement to chase them down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to quickly look up what my long jump is. Don't mind me.
You have fun. Scoop, you are standing inside a burning building. The people inside have been saved.
Umbrella up.
You have an umbrella above you, protecting you.
All right. Before my intention being here and staying behind for a moment is to have a look at around the scene to see if I can discern the nature of the explosion and find any evidence.
Yeah. Give me an investigation.
All right.
That's my investigation. Something crazy, I presume.
You are an investigator.
Muddy 20.
Muddy 20. Let's see him in
Bloody
chat.
20.
Yeah, that's a very nice roll. From what you can tell, this probably wasn't something like you feel it probably was a magical explosion of some kind, like given the force of it and how quickly things ignited, and like it just seems like probably a fireball spell or something similar. Just
Some to that effect.
Yeah.
All right. Contented with that, I make my way to leave, but not before Miss Cotter, if that's possible. Well,
Okay.
Miss Cutter is, I know.
She is Miss
That's-
Cotter in this.
Yep. You see Miss Cotter next to you. Mr.
I'm-
Scoop, it's a pleasure to see you. You've seen nothing. Worried?
Miss Goop is a picture of confusion. I would. Okay.
You seem to have inhaled a little bit of smoke, sir. I'll just be knocking out that tap to help put out the fire. Right?
Okay. Good.
I'd
good-
like to
good thinking.
slice open the faucet so it could start spraying water, please.
Give me a strength. Or unless you're attacking with a specific weapon.
I tilt my umbrella back so Scoop can't see. Full slice. If I can.
Yeah, give me an attack roll.
Scoop's part is just staring.
Uh,
at his hands in confusion.
17.
That's a hit. And some
Yep.
damage.
Uh, 10.
Yeah, you hit the connection from the pipe and like the actual faucet, which is a little rusted, and it breaks off and water starts sort of spraying. It's not a huge
No,
thing, but it could help.
it'll help. I put I kind of like brush my umbrella through it. There's this hissing noise from all of the heat that's been hitting the top of it. And I bring it up and I just start walking out. And as we're starting to head out, I put my hat back on.
Right. Yeah.
And looking ever so distraught, just like, oh, thank you for saving me, Mr. Investigator, sir.
Okay.
Are you alright? Did you take any damage at all?
No. I don't. There was a young woman that ran in here with me. She was about your height, had white hair and like a drow complexion. Did you see where she went? Was she safe?
What are you talking about? She was... Oh, I don't think I saw anyone, not really. I mean, it was only just me.
I presume with my passive of 19, I don't see another drow around here, so I'm presuming
No.
they're not in the fire. So mine sees a little bit of that. I was going to do is, all right. I guess they just ran off. Now quickly, we got to find these sailants. I'll begin to make my way
I
out.
believe I saw your large, tall, green friend head in that direction. Potentially.
Okay. Well, follow me. Best stick close.
Should we not happen to deal with any of the other civilians who got hurt? I mean, the other people who got hurt?
They're outside with my good friend Janus. We should see them. Well, let's get you out of this fire. The place could
Thank
still
you,
collapse.
Mr. Inspector, sir. It's a relief to have you around.
That's what I do. Now, go on.
She strolls out with the umbrella.
Yeah. So out on the street, the two people that you rescued, it was a tabaxi and an elven person.
Mm.
They are just sort of watching the fire, and standing next to Janus. There's seems to be a crowd of people sort of gathered around. You see a wagon like down the street, like sort of rushing towards this area, making you hear like a wee sound from it.
Ew, 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 ew.
All right. I'm gonna sort of gesture for the crowd to move out of the way.
Yep.
And like stick close to the tabaxi and the elf.
Mhm.
And once we're sort of off the main carriage path,
Yeah.
you know, sort of kneel, like, not kneel down with them, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just-
check on.
Okay. Are you two okay? Can you tell me what happened?
Oh, just guys came in, started asking for money. We've done this a few times now, and I refused. Not giving my hard-earned coin to a bunch of ruffians. One of them got kind of angry. The Janus, and he did that. Just set the place on fire.
What can you tell me about them? Did you get their names?
No, I didn't get their names. They never told me their names. But yeah, they just, no, it was Janus, Fire Janus, and just a human guy. This was like the third time they'd come in the past like 2 weeks. Kept suggesting bad things would happen. Didn't hand over any of my cash. Told them to
They've
get
been
out.
doing the rounds.
Yeah, so I've heard. I let the watch know, but said there was nothing they could do about it. There was, like, there's no evidence or anything.
Looks back at the burning building. Somehow I don't think evidence is going to be a problem anymore.
We'll see. Hopefully, doesn't help me. Place of business up in flames.
I'll see who I can talk to. Might be able to get you fixed up. Alright, stay here. If any of the guard come and ask any questions, tell them everything. I need to go find someone.
Good luck.
Just stands up full height, sort of looks over the crowd, looking for Scoop or the accountant, or if he's very, very lucky, Miss Cotter.
Well,
Thank you so much for your help, sir.
you see Scoop and a dark elf who seems similar to Miss Cotter, but few distinct differences you notice. Like, more shorter, more sort of upright ears, and a big scar across her cheek. Hair seems shorter, but I mean, could be a haircut or something. You're not sure.
Close enough. Alright, and he approaches Scoop, paying very little attention to the dark elf standing with him.
Thanks for your help in there.
What have you got?
It seems to have been some sort of magical explosion. I think one of the assailants is a caster of some kind.
The fire
Fire
genasi.
genasi.
Oh,
Let me just duck off.
I'll pull out my
Yeah.
note, wrap it down, scribble it down quickly. Well, did you see which way they went? I'll be saying to Janus and also the people outside.
The accountant looked like he was going after someone, but I've lost track of him.
It went that direction.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, miss, please stay here and ensure everyone backs away from the building. It could collapse any time and cause serious damage.
Yes.
That's what I'm telling you, that's-
Please make sure your friend is safe. Hate for anything to happen to him.
Will do. And I'll begin to run that way. Janus, come on. We gotta catch him.
Before you go, she reaches for Janus.
Scoops
Gives
run
him a-
at this point.
You've gotten taller. And just goes back into the crowd to help out, to check on the two cafe workers.
With a blend of kind of and wait, what? Kind of takes the compliment, but it's like, hang on, how did? What? Oh, right, gotta run.
Make sure he's safe.
Yeah. As this large wagon rolls up with, you notice some large just barrels on the back of it, which you can hear the sloshing of water, and some official-looking people wearing the blue and gold of the uniform of Arkpoint sort of stand up and use like start grabbing buckets to like throw water onto the building, and you see one person in like a longer robe cast like just a jet of water from their hands to start like putting up the upper levels.
They sure took their bloody time.
It's been a
It's been
couple
like
of
a
minutes.
minute.
Like 3 rounds. It's been 18 seconds.
Still.
They took their
Why
bloody
were there
time.
not there's no systems in place for a place that uses fire for cooking. That's just not good safety.
Well, maybe this will start a discussion on workplace safety.
The city council.
If only we had someone influential that had some sway on the council.
I hope this
That's
game
fair.
takes a drastic turn and just becomes all about bureaucracy and like refounding
We're
the current
already
law
there.
systems.
You imply that I wasn't planning that already?
Just
Why
like
else,
a
would
keyword.
why else would I have a city as my
May
setting?
I inquire as to what's happening to the accountant during all of this? Does he manage to
Geospatial
catch
infrastructure management.
He's making
Speaking of
excellent
infrastructure,
time.
You've made it to the end of the block. This guy is about probably 2 blocks ahead of you, but you can still see him. He's sort of along the main street.
Excellent. Okay, so here's the question. Does this block end and just become a street? Or does this block end, there's the road, and then there's another building?
So yeah, there's a road between the building you're on. It's like you've basically come to a cross intersection.
Okay. How far is that building? Across the road?
About 40 feet.
Big gears. No, I'll go to the ground.
Okay.
Just going to take a running leap, and just jump down and continue running. How high? I was 40 feet up, you said?
Yeah,
Or
roughly.
was it more? Excellent. You'll notice something strange as the accountant kind of arcs. There's a weird grace to him. His like suit jacket kind of flapping almost slower than it should, as my slow fall ability kicks in. And so I ignore the first 25 feet of that.
Okay.
So I fall about 15 feet.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So it's 1d6 per 10, in case you do wonder.
Yeah. Yeah. You only, as you hit the ground pretty solidly, some of the cobblestones underneath your feet, not necessarily like they crack a little.
You're damn right.
Not a crater, but there's definitely damage done. And yeah, take 5 points of, I assume, bludgeoning damage.
Excellent. And then I will continue running after this person.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, I am gaining on them.
Yes. Now that you're down on ground level, there will be street traffic and whatnot between you and them. So give me another perception check.
Excellent. All right, 7.
7.
Yes, solid 7.
You.
But like a really big one.
Yeah.
Huge, biggest
you
7
are,
you've ever
you
seen.
are taller than most people in the street. You've lost sight of them. You know where they were, but you can't see them from this angle.
I knew going down to the ground was a stupid idea. Oh, I lost sight of them, but I know the direction they were headed.
Yeah, you remember where they were.
All right. looking around, I'd like, basically I'd try and flag a person and say, you know,
There was a man who looked like this. Did you see them run past here?
Oh. Yeah, no, they were quite in a hurry. They headed right down that street.
excellent, keep going that way.
Okay.
Don't like being outrun. But yeah, how do you want to do this? Because I'm going to keep
Yeah.
chasing this person down at this point.
That's fine. I'll just quickly check in what the rest of the party is doing, and I'll get back to you. What is Scoop?
Miss Cutter is doing roughly what Janus was doing, but she's being a little bit more precise with her questions. She's asking about times of day, whenabouts they were popping through, whether or not the watch has been in, and if they're hurt, she's probably healing them, but like as subtly as possible.
Yep. So the elven person who was trapped in the kitchen doesn't have much. Like, they were the one working the kitchen most of the time. They just the cook. They didn't deal with these people, but the tabaxi person is there. They're given, like, it wasn't anything necessarily consistent. They just seemed to wander in. You know, one time it was morning, the other two times it was like they did notice it was usually the quieter periods. Like, these people would come in.
So they didn't want anybody witnessing. Right.
They would come in
The
with
other.
Yeah.
If the tabaxi is hurt, I'd also probably like their names. But if the tabaxi is hurt, what she's going to do is chew on this, and it's a bundle of just easy, like, herbs, like herbs and dried apple and stuff like that. And while that's being chewed on, she'll use a point or two of lay on hands.
Yep.
So they think that it's coming from the mixture in her hands instead of from her.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. That's really helped. That made me feel a lot better. Oh,
Yes.
cleared out the sinuses.
Yes. No. It's an excellent mix. I'd really recommend if you ever have it as a tea. I've heard that there's just been such terrible business around.
Yeah, about
And
for
the
the
watch
last,
has been doing nothing.
about the last month, these guys have been causing trouble. Well,
Is it just this street, or is it been the entire area?
I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure. I don't talk to everyone in the area. Rumors, from what I've heard,
because,
though, it seems to be a decent chunk of the Riverside North.
Let's see. And there is no sign that it might be, and she shifts her head from side to side, connected with any sort of criminal activity, the organized crime folk.
Well,
You know.
well, probably what it is, right? Like,
Yeah, but I thought that they weren't anywhere near this side.
usually the watch, I guess, keeps them out of the way because we got, more influential families living near here, but something's changed, obviously. Not sure.
Do you reckon? Like, her eyes go wide. You don't think there's something up with the watch, do you?
Not sure. Kind of seems that way. Because they've been
Oh dear.
unhelpful.
Dear. Well, I'll make sure to bring. Hopefully, if I bring one over, they'll actually do their bloody job. Take care.
Thanks. He continues munching on the herb stuff you gave him.
Yep. Is gonna make notes. I'd like to scan the crowd and see if there's anybody who's observing this fire with purpose to see if it's generated any sort of fear, like looking at other people. Not looking at the fire, looking at other people.
So
See
you're
if
looking for
they-
someone else that is scanning the crowd.
Yeah, essentially. Looking for someone who is observing whether or not, yes, this has sent a message, or looking for someone who is looking for someone else.
Yeah. Give me a perception check.
19.
You give a pretty thorough look of the crowd, but you don't see like most of this crowd seems to just be interested in watching the fire itself, or just like talking to one another. No one seems to be watching other people with interest.
In that case, she's going to slink out of the back of the crowd and head in the general direction she saw Scoop Janus head.
Yep.
Just slowly making her way. Maybe she'll come across them. Maybe she won't.
Yeah.
She's definitely looking for the account, though.
What is Scoop and Janus doing?
So, we're heading in roughly the direction we thought the accountant was going.
So you were pointed down an alleyway. At about halfway down that alleyway, it sort of becomes like a cross intersection of like sort of. So this is an alleyway that connects the two streets between the blocks, and then behind the buildings of the blocks, the alley sort of splits in either direction to back doors and whatnot. So you can continue forward to get to the other street on the other side, or you can.
I would like to continue forward, just not losing any pace,
Yep.
and make a perception check to try and like discern hurried footfalls, the sounds of running, and perhaps the accountant's voice.
Yeah.
The
As I,
accountant's distinctive footprints.
It's the sound of purposefulness.
Some cracked cobbles, perhaps.
Especially if I find just the happenstance, like, there appear to be two very heavy set cracked footprints in this concrete. I think he was here. Alright, let's make this
Yeah.
perception check. 19. Bloody strengths.
As you sort of exit the alleyway, you look to your left, and you see people sort of in the crowd. Well, actually, no. What you would see is the accountant's head above most of the crowd, because he's a very tall person, about a block and a half down the street away from you. Seems to be moving at quite a pace.
Yeah, there we go. I gesture out with to Janus. There. As I'm a little winded at this point, unable to quite keep up full pace.
Yeah, we can't keep up with the accountant. I have an idea. Sort of step 1 foot out onto the street and see if I can spot a watch carriage.
Roll me fate.
Ooh.
Hopefully
That
we
is
can
a-
find an...
You're not going to believe this. That's a 99.
Ooh. Yeah, there is a watch carriage. Like, as you come out of the alley, you see one, like, making its way down the street. You see two, actually. One, they seem to be making their way to the fire.
Perfect. Alright, Janus is going to recklessly run out in front of them, or at least one of them, and flag them down.
Alrighty. I'm going to roll. See if...
How badly does this end?
Hey, Janus, could you be a dexterity saving throw?
Sure thing.
Running in front of a moving carriage.
Yep, this is classic.
I feel like the
dirty
deck
money
save only
20.
counts if he moves out of the way.
Well...
That's a muddy 20.
Oh, okay.
Yay! I gauged the distance just right.
Yeah, you run out in front of this carriage. They notice you a bit too late, and look like they're going to run you over, but you jump back out of the way and just, the hell you doing, son?
Reaches in the pocket, pulls out Amberwood's signet ring. We're chasing a subject. A cafe was just attacked by a fireball a couple of minutes ago. We're chasing we're chasing. Whatever. Follow me. Climbs into the carriage.
Yep. Give me a charisma, just a charisma check with advantage.
Oh Lord, okay.
Oh no.
Okay, my options are a 6 and a 6
Oh, that's fine.
to a total of 6.
Yeah, this was just to see, like, they're gonna help you. This was just to see if they were gonna follow your orders completely or if they were gonna take over. And they're like, all right, just point us in the way. We'll take it from here. Where are you going?
Points down the direction where Scoop was pointed. Scoop, jump on!
Scoop's gonna run and jump on, flash a page of his notebook very quickly, which has a scribbled drawing of a badge. Don't worry, this is fine. I'm gonna, like, harshly whisper to Janus. Good thing that they didn't hit you. Otherwise, Miss Cross would never speak to me again.
Cool.
just gonna completely brush over the fact you said Miss Cross there for a second, man.
I would like to take a moment and say Officer Cross. My apologies for misgendering.
Oh, Miss Cross. Right, Officer Cross. Not
Officer Cross.
No.
There are they. There are they.
not to be confused with Miss Cotter, who's been identified as Cross at you.
I don't know that cross at me yet.
They're just very disappointed. They're not mad.
Some
It's very
dollars.
nice of me if I don't know it's there.
Alright, we're gonna frantically point
Yeah.
as close to where Scoop was spotting the accountant.
From the vantage point of a carriage, you can definitely spot the accountant. And he takes off down the street. Mr. Accountant, you reached the spot where you last saw this person you were chasing. It's another, like, area where the streets open up into some alleyways, and there's like a small park sort of off them to the just up the street a little bit.
Are there any people around?
Yeah, it's middle of the day. There's it's kind of busy.
This person's been running away. Is there any kind of obvious signs of like crowds they've pushed out of the way or things they've knocked over as they've been running?
Give me an investigation check for that.
15
15.
flat.
Cool.
Yeah.
There wasn't like there are some people who like may have noticed this person running, but your messengers and couriers tend to keep a quick pace in these streets all the time. Nothing super, like, there's nothing knocked over. This isn't like a super crowded street that has like stalls and whatnot. Just like most businesses keep stock and stuff inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
In that case, I kind of go over to that group of people. So I run over to them and immediately,
Once he had described the person, so it was an individual, large black coat, running very fast. Which way did they go?
Yeah, no, I think I saw someone like that. I popped into the park, I think, or maybe, well, they went in that direction. I don't know if they went in.
Okay. So I suppose I start running towards the park.
Yep, it's not a huge park. It's like quarter of a block. It's just like there's some trees and like small dirt path and a couple of benches and a fountain.
Once I kind of get to that area, can I see anything?
Can't. No, that seems you've lost the trail at this point. The
I
guys
punch a tree.
roll an attack roll.
12.
That's a hit.
Oh, 18.
Yeah. It's a step and hit. The birds, like, a couple of birds just fly out of the tree, squawking.
This ruffles my feathers.
And I'm going to start walking back.
Ruffle their feathers.
I'm very displeased.
As you turn around, you see a watch wagon sort of pull up with Janus and Scoop riding on it.
And presumably 1 to 2 watch officers looking a bit bemused potentially,
Yeah.
or a little frustrated.
A large-chested dwarven fellow jumps off. I'm Sergeant Falcon. We were pointed in this direction, pursuing some suspect. Apparently had to do with the arson down the road.
I look to him.
Yes, there was such a person. Large black trench coat, reddish skin, running in this direction. I'm unsure of where they have traveled from here.
No worries. Thank you for your help. We'll try and pick up the trail from here.
Janus is going to turn to Scoop. Are there any good hiding places around here? You know, stuff you can have like secret meetings or like, you know, mob type stuff. He's doing the thing with his fingers, kind of.
Not really in a park. You could certainly meet people here, but it's not exactly a great place to lose anyone. Unless you're, I guess, if they were pursuing a carriage, but they didn't have any reason to think we were had commandeered near the carriage. It does seem like a strange place to lose them. Where was the last place you saw them? I turned to the accountant.
I will tell him the description of the place I last saw this person.
Yeah, just down the street a little, and it's like an area that has a few alleys branching off the street, and there's a few places it could have this suspect could have gone. You
The tried and true method of returning to where you last saw it. And you said
you're gonna look around for them, or like signs of them.
what? Yes. Before that, I'm going to continue my conversation with the accountant. You said you've clearly been led to this park. Why'd you come here if you saw them back there? Is this just where it led, or?
Yes, there was a group of bystanders. I believe they may have run past them, and they pointed me in this direction.
So reason to believe they've gone this way. Unless
One of them, there were 2 suspects. They split way back there on Thamel Street.
they split up. Ah, clever. Good for escaping a single pursuer.
Unfortunately.
Yes, but unfortunately for them, we're not a single pursuer anymore. Unfortunately, we've lost the trails. But for next time. Alright, let's return. And see if we can pick up the trail. It may not be hot anymore, but a cold trail still leads you where you want to go.
I'm gonna turn and start walking back towards that shop.
The cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The burning one. Although, as I walk
One
past
on
Janus,
fire.
I do ask,
Did you manage to save them?
Yes, they're all safe and sound.
the accountant doesn't particularly say anything. He nods, and I think you can kind of get that impression of, like, this isn't the outcome he wanted, but that is at least the better of the 2 outcomes, and he's, like, happier about that. Like, you did good, and he still feels angry.
Oh boy.
Okay.
All right.
Um,
I assume the coach has like gone off to go like pursue someone.
yeah. Well, I think the officers are actually questioning the people you talked to. Because like they don't know which way to go either, so they're doing their own investigation now.
As I'm walking back, I want to try and capture as much detail in my mind of what these people look like, and if I am aware of any criminal groups or aspiring criminal groups who match that description, and if not, who the person to ask would be.
Yep.
I'm gonna very quickly. Scoop hands you his notebook and a fresh page, as well as his quill. Goes, please, if you could write a visual description or even a crude drawing, that'd work wonders. Well, it's still fresh in your mind.
It's trust.
Nod and take the thing and begin scribbling as we continue walking down the street. Before offering it back, the description of the two people, leather jacket, one dark-skinned humanoid, one red-skinned, also humanoid, I suppose. Do I know that this person is a Janasi? They have fiery hair, right?
Yeah. Their hair, their
Yeah.
hair is like wispy and flame-like.
Excellent.
All right.
As you're walking down the street, I assume Miss Cotter, would be walking the opposite direction towards them.
Towards them, yes. On the hunt for a certain individual.
You spot them.
Ooh.
They're hard to miss.
Yes, I know. Which is why, at first, there's like a pause, and there's like just a stare at the accountant. There's a definite, distinct tap of the foot. Are you hurt?
Jan stops for a moment. Kind of assesses. I am not. Are you okay?
Little bit smoky. But I'll be fine. Why is he here?
He's learning.
Let me rephrase that. Why is he here on a job?
Alton pauses for a long while on that one. Until he says,
Because it's going to make him better.
I just hope you or I or anyone else doesn't have to clean up the mess. Who sent you? Was it her?
It was. Someone's operating here unsolicitedly, outside of the organization. They're running some kind of protection racket. I suspect you've figured that by now.
Oh yes. A whole bunch of a little old lady down the street basically said as much.
This is perhaps the nicer side of what we do. The rare opportunity to help. That is why Janus is here.
Fine. I don't like it. He's a child. He shouldn't be here.
You cannot hide him away from the world.
It's technically not even my job to do that.
We're heading back
Sit,
to the
Janus.
cafe. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Janus in the background, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, realizing there's like charcoal and ash and stuff on his sleeves of his tunic, he's, like brushing it
over
off, like,
here. You're going to smudge it further in.
He's kind
Oh.
of looking back at the watch carriage, like, I can't believe I just commented a watch carriage. That's awesome.
Just gotta brace this huge sigh of a sigh, like of just there's partial relief. No one's hurt. Did you find either of them? There's two. Did you spot them?
No, we've got good descriptions of them there.
It like passes over Janus. Make sure that he's cleaned up.
One
And
there,
at this point,
yeah, a scuff. Yeah.
just
She kind of-
is just going about business. She's still Miss Cutter at this point. She hasn't changed back, but I think that as she's kind of going over you, Janus, I'm not too sure how perceptive you are, but you'll notice that her hands are a lot rougher than they look, like a lot rougher.
With a passive perception of 12, not very.
Probably not then.
Smarter than your average bear.
And you're there. I'm not too sure about what Scoop thinks, but Miss Cotta will list off the things that she's seen very quietly towards the accountant specifically after she's finished fussing over Janus. She's not too sure about Scoop. She's still very wary of Scoop, but also is giving Scoop a once-over. Did he get dirty? Is his coat more matted? Is she going to need to repair something?
Any damage, Scoop, any grime or dust or dirt on Scoop's coat was there long before fire.
Yeah,
She's like,
you can't particularly tell
boys.
what the new dirt is. Like, there's like
Oh.
ink spots and like chalk dust and
Have you considered going to a dry cleaner?
What's a dry cleaner?
it's a sorcerer that knows prestidigitation.
Essentially.
I lean over to the accountant. So, how do you know Miss Cutter?
Which do you say?
He said
Cutter or
Cutter.
Miss Cutter.
Cutter, okay.
Cut a long story short, my dog stole her dinner.
Then over to
Accurate.
Janus. I think you're in trouble.
Another question.
I turn back. I can turn to Scoop.
I know why I am here. And I have an understanding as to why Miss Cutter is here. As for you, Scoop, what brings you?
Oh, I was asked by the guard. Well, not the guard in particular, just one guard who was kind of concerned about the goings on in this place. I think there's a racketeering gig going on. It's like property damage. They asked me to look into it. Very hush hush. I shouldn't tell anyone about it. So I need to make sure the guard doesn't find out about it.
I like the
Why
idea
you-
that, like, as you're doing this, the accountant looks to Miss Cutter, who looks at him, and they share this, like, brief moment, and then
Yes.
look back as he's still talking.
I see he hasn't changed.
Absolutely not.
Oh, I turned to Miss Cutter, believing this to be someone I don't know and trust very well. Don't tell anyone I said that.
Your secret is safe with me.
Oh,
Scoop, this is
I'm-
my friend, Miss Cutter. Miss Cutter, this is a private detective, Scoop.
Oh, it's a
good to
pleasure
meet
to meet you, Scoop. We just met earlier, actually.
we did. I remember that.
Yes, we did. There was a
Looked through
point
couple
where...
pages of my notebook. Oh yes, it's written right here.
Yes. Alright, the racketeering, or whatever this threatening thing might be, has been going on for a wee bit, for sure. There is definitely bits and bobs of it happening. It only seems to be the two of them, though. But, and I turn to the accountant, the copper's looking a little tarnished.
Tarnished copper metal.
They're a bit on friendly terms, from what I've seen.
Then it is unlikely it is just a two-man operation.
Indeed. if anything, there's a high chance that it's probably a little tarnished up top.
Wait, so hey, what was it that lady said about the watch? They weren't doing anything about it? He says, clearly 2 steps behind the rest of the conversation, like whispering hush hush so the watchman can't hear him.
You're definitely
You
out of
say-
earshot of them by
At
now.
this point, I'm assuming like we've been walking, making our way back towards where this fire actually is
Yeah,
slash
yeah.
was. Yeah, cool,
Mhm.
cool.
It's mostly put out by now. The crowd has dispersed a little. You see,
Mhm.
mainly because the watch, like that second watch wagon, arrived at the scene and has sort of like
Mhm.
been dispersing the crowd, like the 2 officers
Mhm.
on that.
Is there signs of any of the other shopkeepers, like Lily or Roland, around?
They
Hide.
still, yeah, not in their street. They would operate a little bit over, like.
All right.
Question for the DM.
Hmm.
Now, the people who I was chasing,
Yes.
if I understood correctly, they weren't specifically running from me. They were just running away. Were they aware of me, or in a manner that I could tell?
I mean, give me an inside check on that. For what's the word? Never mind.
7. Like, did I see them looking back at me at any point? I suppose is the question.
They.
I was on a rooftop
They-
during that time.
Yeah. If you saw them looking back, it definitely wasn't up.
Okay, I kind of turned to the rest of them thinking about this. There is a very real possibility that the person I was pursuing was unaware of my presence. If that is the
That's nice
case,
change.
then they would be unaware that this place would be watched, and they may return to collect more earnings now that one sacrificial lamb has been presented.
That's true. They're not just going to stop their racketeering business just because they blew up one building.
It's not just this area. It's this one store has been messaged, but there are other stores.
It's true.
Plenty
but
of others.
This is their main
And so
boss.
far, we. Well, I suppose I turn to the accountant. Do you have anyone you can ask?
Actually, I was just about to ask the DM. Now that I have a rough idea of the layout of the area, do I know of any peddlers in this area or any other syndicate people who work here and might have had like a consistent, has been here long enough to kind of go, I know when something's off. These people don't look right, kind of thing.
You probably have some contacts in the area, yeah. Like, no one particularly, like, as you've heard, the Atello family tends not to operate in this area much because usually they're kept out. But they do have people not actively doing anything for them, but keeping an eye on things is
Making sure relations are kept smooth.
yeah.
Okay.
You have a few people you could reach out to.
Problem is, this is a not heavily enforced area, as you're probably aware. There's a
Yes,
couple
that's why I
people.
live here.
There's a few people I could reach out to who may have seen or heard something, but I'm not terribly optimistic.
Oh. Oh, I suppose we could either attempt to stake out stuff. I have to get back with flowers soonish, maybe. I'm not too sure.
How does Miss Cutter look? Is she covered in any soot or anything?
No.
Immaculate,
Okay.
because the illusion is immaculate. The actual Miss Cutter is probably underneath quite dust, like probably is a little bit smudged up. I think at one point maybe like she rubs her nose.
Can I make a perception check to determine if Miss Cutter smells like smoke?
Yes.
As in, she does, or
I mean, you can roll, but
natty 20
Yeah, no.
actually, as it happens.
there's
I know
definitely
what type of wood it
Definitely.
was as well.
cafe wood.
That's
The
the
wood.
smoke, that is.
Definitely a hint of wood smoke. Not just on Miss Cutter though, also your other two companions smell.
I know, but they're not going back to their mistress, so I don't have to worry about them as much.
I think that also her umbrella is a little bit not damaged, but it probably looks a little bit charcoaled up, and she's just like, and she's been brushing it off while she's been walking around. Occasionally, like a dang when she hits it too hard.
Quietly, as we're walking, I kind of lean over to Miss Cutter and just simply say, "You may look fine. Be aware that the scent of smoke lingers."
Should I be worried that you're summoning me this closely?
It depends if that's something that worries you.
Do I smell bad?
That's
I'm
a
gonna be
question.
I'm gonna be a really nice diplomatic person.
Like you've been at some kind of wood fireplace for lunch.
That's a good excuse. I can use that.
And
Oh,
then
but then she's gonna maybe ask about smoked sausages. Oh dear. There's nothing to do.
just kind of also add on top of that as we're still walking.
For what it's worth, I am doing my best to ensure Master Janus stays out of trouble. Anything more than he could handle, at least.
Just make sure the others don't get their bloody hands in him. A young son of a lord. Under control. You know exactly who would kill for that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Man, you really shouldn't have jumped up into that carriage. If you had been hurt, I would have been in all kinds of trouble. Being the only adult on the scene.
I really like level of stay. Oh yes, because I definitely recall you telling him exactly what to do with that fire, Mr. Scoop.
Yes, I know him to be quite an able-bodied young man.
Yes. In a fire where he could have been hurt.
Yes, many
I'm
people
all right.
have done
He says, like, sort of quietly raising his hand now at the background of this conversation.
that. Glad you are, Janus. You did well.
Mm.
I'm glad you were there.
Return to the
Actually-
accountant and in hushed tones say, just make sure no one gets their hands in him. It's bad enough he's interacting with her.
a nod. Simply in agreement. There is a look of sincerity in his eyes, though.
Alright.
I also want to fall back a little bit towards where Janus is. As like hopefully Miss Cutter and Scoop
Is-
kind of walk ahead a little bit.
And she's glaring at him, like sassing him.
Scoop's
like,
just having like this great time.
Gives like a Labrador, completely oblivious to the trouble he's caused.
Like, really? No thoughts whatsoever. Really?
I'm having a good day. I did a good today. Solved the fire. In his mind, he totally solved it.
Problem solved.
out of fire didn't even like help. Technically, didn't really like free anyone from the fire. It's good to be a private eye.
Being your own boss, it's great. As I kind of fall back to Janus, I kind of like walk next to him for a moment, and then I say, I do not want to treat you as a child, and I think you have earned yourself better than that. If you have questions about what has transpired, who these people are, why you're here, if you'd like to talk later, I will speak truthfully to you.
Janus kind of looks up to you for a moment. And in a way you haven't seen up until now, there's a kind of focus in him. You see him like focusing and sort of... I'm not sure what the word is. But he goes, "It's alright, boss. I think I have a plan." He has this sort of big smile on his face. Where to next?
I hear him say boss.
He's not normally quiet.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say
Certainly not quiet enough.
I'd say Miss Cutter hears this.
She freezes and turns to the accountant. Boss.
I'd like to pay. I did ensure that we had stepped back a little bit.
There was an attempt.
I'm going to answer Janus, is what I'm going to do. And... Ugh. First, actually, yeah. No, I say, I know you have a plan. And for now, I think we should return to the scene of the crime. Criminals are predictable in that way. Perhaps there is something we have yet to see. And I look back up towards Miss Cutter, and still talking to Janus. And plus, there are the people whose lives you saved.
Alright. Shall we get going?
Let's.
I don't see what the big deal is anyway. When I was his age, I was running to burning buildings all the time.
I mean,
And okay, with that,
Was
I think we should take a break.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Da-da-da.
Excellent.
Okay,
Hopefully,
when we
people
get
are
back.
enjoying so far.
We will be back in just a little bit.
Perfect.
Thank you all.
see you in a wee bit.
should be back. So, you just helped save some people from a cafe fire, and then attempted to pursue the perpetrators, or at least one of the perpetrators. Were unsuccessful in your chase, and though you have reconvened as a party, what was the plan from here?
Last I recall, we were walking back towards the cafe that had been put out by now, hopefully.
Yes, the fire is out. The fire brigade have done their job quite well, and the watch have started dispersing the crowd, but also asking witnesses for information and whatnot.
All right. I'm thinking that at the very least, in the immediate few minutes, like following the events before we took a break, I'll be beginning to try and pick up the trail of the pursuers, seeing if they dropped anything on in their hurried escape, and may lead us to them.
Sorry.
I'll put a word in for perhaps the idea that they may return later, and we now know what they look like, and we can get the drop on them.
Give me an investigation roll to see if you can find any clues.
Right. Am I able to use my magnifying glass to give me advantage on this?
Sure.
Okay.
It's a pretty cool magnifying glass.
This is a very low roll of 14.
Okay. A 14. Wonder what DC was. No.
You didn't.
No, I didn't.
You didn't! Not again! Another bloody 15? Are you serious?
No. You're kidding. You, while following the street back to the cafe, you start searching like the alleyway, you know, that they went down and whatnot. Just like in that alleyway, sort of like it's been blown by the wind up into one of the corners of like a box, basically against the wall. You find like what looks to be just like a scrunched up gold serviette. Like
All right.
with a, you know, just in the corner of it is like a monogrammed
So it's
mono-
on like
it-
a
it-
window.
yeah, so basically you find this crumped up serviette that seems to have like blown up against the thing, and it's a little symbol on the corner of the paper that reads OR in fancy script.
Monogrammed meaning OR. All right. I take the serviette and gingerly place it in my pocket, preserving it, and go to write and draw a depiction of it in my notebook.
Yeah.
At several points, he scribbles out and rewrites monogrammed and serviette, trying to remember how to spell these two words.
Oh, you're missing an R.
Oh, thank you. Wait, come on.
I'm
thanks.
standing right next to you at this point, probably, because we were right next to each other when when we were walking down.
Yeah, you
I-
probably watched him pull out his magnifying glass and start just like inspecting every corner of the alley.
I lean over and for monogram is it 2 M's or 1 M?
Well, technically it's two, because one starts at the start and one's at the end.
What? 3 M's? Like the dub. I'll do 2.
So she like writes out monogrammed like on her hand. She like holds out her hand and she starts tracing out letters for him. It's interesting actually. When you see her do it, she kind of divides her hand up into like 3 different points, kind of like a different sort of, and she takes the center 2 and then writes the M. So it looks kind of like a strange sort of claw formation as opposed to like a single finger.
All right. Thank you. All right. O-R.
Do you know anyone that starts with an O anywhere?
Not really. I turn back to the rest of the party and hold up the serviette from my pocket. Does this O-R mean anything to you?
Do I recognize this?
None of you necessarily recognize this.
Does it have a scent on it?
Good thinking. I held it up towards the accountant.
I will attempt what is being asked of me, but I will not say anything. I would like to determine if there is an identifiable scent on this napkin.
Give me a roll. Perception.
Hot diggity damn, that's a 21, son.
Ooh.
Apparently I am good at this.
Apparently Cannon, the accountant has a really good sense of smell.
Pick some color.
You smell wood smoke.
Birch.
And yeah, you would recognize the smell of, like, just the hint of beer.
Whatever was originally there is mostly gone due to the smoke. But there is a strong, lingering scent of alcohol. Beer specifically, I think. There may be a tavern around this place that this person frequents.
I mean, I don't know how much he's involved in your everyday life, but could Prague help?
I would like to extend that question to the DM. I'm not sure how you want to run my pet.
I mean, he is your pet. Would the accountant have trained him to be, like, the scent, like, hound in any way? Do you think? Or
not particularly any more than the fact that he's a dog and he's got a great sense of smell to begin with, but
yeah, like, he'd have a good sense of smell, but you need to train a dog.
Yeah.
To track.
No, that's not what his training's for at all.
Yeah.
I don't believe so. He's got a strong sense of smell, but not the tools to use it. There's something else, though, that I believe you said before.
Yes.
That the local guard had investigated this to some degree, but you don't think it's on the up and up.
Well, when I directed their attention to a incident at the local butcher that I took witness to, they certainly seemed amicable as they were leaving other premises.
Could you give a description of this guard, perhaps?
I don't believe I received one, but I'm going to say that they were.
Were you not
tallish.
watching that person? Like,
I was,
didn't you see them
but
leave the building?
I was not given.
I
a
didn't
DM
describe.
description.
I didn't describe the NPC.
Right, yeah.
I just voiced. Yeah.
In my head, they are tall.
Yep.
A little pale. Human. like mousy brown hair with a slight curl to it, probably, and like a slightly bulbous nose. In my head is how I visualized them when you were describing them.
We're on a weirdly same wavelength there.
Hey. But
It
yes,
may
so I
not be-
described that.
Thank you. It may not be perhaps as scrupulous as Scoop's tactic. However, if this individual has been paid off, he is likely to know who paid him.
Ooh. He was down the other end. I have to head there anyway because I have to pick up some flowers, so it wouldn't be too rough a beat for me. And I check the area. Like I've been gone a tiny bit. I'm not too sure. Because
Ooh, that's
Lady Sangus doesn't seem to care when I come back, just as long as I come back at some point. And it's really workaholic Miss Cotta don't know what to do with self.
Yes. That is a question though I have. Where was the chocolate during this?
In the basket.
Oh no.
Is it congealed? Is it all like I think she like oh no.
It's got, like,
What is it?
Fine.
Are you okay? Something wrong?
Are you hurt?
No.
Me, Lady
Check my
Count's like
basket.
staring at everything around, just like,
No,
I'll kill
no,
anything
don't
here.
worry.
What's going on?
Don't worry. She like puts her hand up and like pats to like calm everyone down. Just like no. Just how bad is it? How bad is it? Do I have the equivalent of that money 20 remote in my bag right now?
The broken up chocolate has basically melted.
Congealed?
Yeah. And the large chocolate horse has like drooped a bunch. Like it's
So
got the
now a
rough.
miniature pony.
Yeah, it's like the if you had really bad eyesight and you weren't wearing your glasses and looked at a horse, it's
I mean, it's still edible though, right?
it's still edible.
Doesn't matter what
It's just
doesn't matter what it looks like.
Got a
But-
lovely
oh.
smoky undertone.
And what about my feather duster? Is it chocolate coated or is it
well,
alright?
the chocolate was in like a bag.
Like it was in a container, right?
Yeah. You didn't have just loose chocolate in your basket.
I know, wouldn't have. There's definitely, because in my head, like she opens up this basket and there's like a sewing kit and like a small amount of like a damp cloth. Oh, I could have used a damp cloth for like the flowers she was gonna pick up, and like a feather duster for some strange reason, and like the box of chocolate. And she was like, and there's the bag of the chips. She's like, and she has like, oh, darn it, I was gonna use some of that for dinner next week. She says, I'm sorry. Oh. And she kind of droops a little. Hopefully she doesn't mind if it looks a little ugly. I mean, I don't mind. It's still delicious regardless.
I kind of look down, now understanding the situation. If we need to purchase more, we can replace them.
Well, then what do we do with the others? There's no point. So, like, replacing stuff that don't need replacing.
Look over. Young Master Janus, do you enjoy chocolate?
Very much so.
Then I believe we have an accord.
So, I suppose we'll head back to the Cloyd's confectionery, I believe it was.
I believe that was across the road from the fire, too.
It was just down the street, yeah.
Just down the street. Okay. Oh dear. Well, you can have the horse if you'd like. I say, holding up the Picasso style horse right now. Sorry, what is it? What's that surrealist painter's name? Valdi? Like the melting clocks.
I think so.
That's no, it's not Salvador, is it?
Salvador Dali. It's
It
Dali.
is? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like to salivate over the can't brain words. Here, chocolate. I'll get her. I give you the chocolate. I suppose it'll come out of my own pocket this time. Which is fine. I have plenty saved up. Oh.
No, not
Do not
like.
worry.
You
I will
joined
pay for
the-
this horse.
You sure?
I don't.
I
You
kind
don't-
of.
Whole group just produces a bunch of silver.
It's.
I dragged you into a dangerous situation. It's only fitting that I reimburse you for any damages.
I believe I was there first.
But I helped.
I walked to the shop.
Oh, she's already on. She's on her way. She's just like she's gonna keep the congealed bag because she knows how to destroy it. So she'll just hammer it again. But she can't give the congealed mass to her mistress. Oh dear.
We enter into said shop.
The unending sigh of the DM.
Well, happy. You're quite a large glass of water now, ain't you?
And a pleasure to meet you too.
I hold up the horse.
Oh no.
There has been an accident. I wish to purchase another of the same. Do you have one?
She sticks out her head from behind him. Hello again. Sorry about that.
Oh, I don't have another mare, but I have a stallion similar.
Do you please?
Will this suffice?
I turn to Miss Cutter.
Yes, it should be alright. She just said she had a craving for chocolate. As long as it's 80% cocoa or higher.
That it is.
Then I will purchase this stallion.
Are you sure I can't give you money?
With the amount of wear and tear you have saved me in this suit alone, I think we are fair.
Alright, you say so. But she's
I
gonna
will-
try and sneak him money in his pockets later when he's not looking.
Just give me the sleight of hand now.
It's bad. It's a 10.
I'm observant, and I'm also
know.
a 10.
Dang right you are. Ba-dum-ts.
Yeah, let me know how much the stallion is, and I will purchase it.
I cannot remember how much I charged you last time. I think it was a gold.
It was
or
a gold for all of it though.
Right,
So
right,
I would say maybe like 4 silver, 5 silver.
probably for the more for the sculpture than the craft stuff. So probably like
Right.
let's say 7 silver.
Absolutely.
Alright.
Now you take care of this one this time.
Yes, I wasn't exactly expecting a burning building.
Oh, is
Thank
that
you.
what all that hubbub was about?
Oh, actually,
Accidents
yes.
happen.
You wouldn't happen to have seen a fairly aggressive couple that came through, tallish humanoid, darker skin and of originality, in a tea tunic.
Oh yeah, those fellas. Yeah, they're from like an insurance agency or something. They just come
Yes,
in
did
and
they
collect.
say? Did they say what insurance agency that they were from?
Now that you mention it, I don't think so. I just know that they came to collect the fee.
Did you just paid it?
Yeah. I don't want bad things happening.
Reasonable. When did this fee collector come?
About once a week. The past like
What point?
month.
Wish.
And how many days ago was that last visit?
Probably about a week now.
Excellent. We are in the market for insurance. Your help has been greatly appreciated.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care now.
You know, I love Clyde. I really do.
You too. That's great.
I
That's
just
amazing.
But
gave
that's
you guys a
Alex.
reason to visit again.
I'll find every reason.
It didn't say couple of fellas. He said couple.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
After we leave, I will hand the melted statue to Janus. It may look a little untoward, but smells delicious.
Wow, this is really good.
I believe it's 80%.
Is he susceptible to sugar eyes?
Think for a second.
That might be a fate roll, you know.
Perhaps do not eat it all at once.
Halfway through the head.
Cast his mind back to a very excitable person that just went into a fighting ring.
We wish to, if
Stake
you have
out?
time, Miss Cutter,
Oh,
perhaps we could together share information over food.
I'd love to. I don't know. There's the closest cafe just burnt down. So,
What's the nearest tavern?
I think back. Do I know a nearest tavern? I don't tend to go into taverns.
You probably wouldn't. If you know shops and whatnot in this place, but yeah.
I know shops. I know tea shops. I know actually, is there a place near the florist? Because I need to head to the florist anyway to pick up flowers.
I'm just gonna. Not anywhere within a few, like, not anywhere close to the florist. Like that's
Dang it.
more.
Well, once I
shops.
get the flowers, I'm good.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to head back.
Something I would probably the more more like food what's the word establishments tend to be closer to the waterside just because the nice view and stuff.
Yes, the waterside. Well, we can head in that direction. I think there's probably a nice restaurant or cafe or something that isn't on fire.
I think that would do lovely.
I
Yes.
could use a cup of tea.
We could definitely keep an eye out for any place that serves alcohol too. In
That's true.
in Scoop's notes, you can see that it's written in regards to the handkerchief. Smelled ... like a birch, and then a dive.
Had a look over and catch on quickly. Is this why you are not of the town guard?
Yes, they had quite a few things to say about my my documentation and anyway.
What, you
The
thought you were working
services
with
are
the
lesser
watch?
for it.
No.
I
As
thought
we're
you said-
heading towards the waterway.
You thought you said you were working for the guard, though.
The watch.
Is that an
Oh,
incorrect statement?
In an advisory capacity.
So, not officially?
No.
Alright, just double checking.
Dear DM,
Yes.
now we have established that I did a little investigating into these people after the initial incident. Am I able to determine why, like, did I ever figure out a reason as to why Scoop isn't a legitimate town guard or employed by the city as a detective?
If I may interject,
Yeah.
would you be alright if we elaborate on that later?
I was just
Okay.
curious as to whether I had a reason or not. But yeah, no worries. I'll continue musing upon this point.
I think
That's a
Miss
secret for another
Cutter, as
time.
they're heading down, is probably like bag, gives Janus the wet cloth to like wipe his face down, because he's probably bloody half covered in chocolate right now.
Just a little, yeah. There's a there's a decent chunk of that horse which has been consumed now.
I love that it's just
How
like
did you go through that? So
if you're
fast?
heading towards a meal and you've just eaten a bunch of chocolate.
You're going to make yourself a huge stomach ache.
8 wisdom in action, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Dungeon Master, I have another question. As
Shoot.
you're walking there, I'm musing upon this. Now, I would say that the accountant is a man who would go to a tailor.
Mm-hmm.
I would go one step further, and I would say that he would go to a tailor that does embroidery.
Mm.
If I were to want to get a handkerchief with my initials embroidered upon it,
This isn't a handkerchief. It's like a paper
oh,
serviette.
right, sorry.
Like it's just like
so sorry.
printed on the paper. It's not like embroidered
Right,
or anything.
yeah, so sorry.
It's
I was
not
thinking way
that.
too good.
Yeah, it's not that classy. It's like
Yeah,
it's
Yep,
just.
yeah.
This is,
But
a,
it
this
is-
a pub.
Yeah, this is you know, one
the
that
handkerchief
apparently
from the
does
pub.
well enough to
Right.
advertise on their own serviettes, in a
Mm.
sense.
I suppose. Have I heard of anything that sounds like that? Like, it's a bit too lowbrow for Lady Sanguis, but I'm imagining Lady Sanguis is the type to like socialize in at least some establishments.
Mm.
Have I heard of anything with an OR?
No, you know,
Okay.
not in that sort of sense.
Does it look new? Scrunched up, or does it look like it's the type of thing that's been hanging out by the deep fryer for the last 3 weeks?
It looked a little messy, like it had been used to like, you know, have like something sitting on top of
Right.
it, a little bit of
Right.
detritus.
Okay. Who are on
I'll keep
river?
an eye out.
Orange Ranger.
You know,
Okay. Ravioli.
one of the shopkeepers said that they come. Well, somebody said that they come round sort of different times of day.
Mm.
Maybe because that's how long it takes them to get there. They'd have to start somewhere. So
Like a
whoever they
location.
arrive at earliest, we'd be able to trace their route backwards.
Ooh.
That's never thought, Janus.
But didn't they say that that came in various times a day, though, in general? Like, the shopkeep, when I was talking to them, said that sometimes they came in the morning and sometimes they came in the afternoon, basically when it was quiet.
True, but there would
But I
be a
like that idea.
trend.
If anything, the randomness of their appearances is a trend in and of itself. Perhaps they have some
Mhm.
other kind of job, or what's the word I'm looking for here? Responsibility that fluctuates in time.
Only the two of them, too. I've only ever heard of those two. No one else. So it's either very small or
All these two are
they're
very
the
good at
only
their job.
ones, or they're also the only ones they can spare. I suppose we find an establishment at this point. What kind of place do we find? Probably, this cutter would probably be avoiding anywhere that looks too expensive.
Bet.
The accountant
nothing-
would not.
Also, the anywhere that looks too dive-y because just on threat of potential people she might know.
Or the dive bar wouldn't have first-party napkins.
Conversely, those are exactly the kind of places that Scoop is looking for.
So what we're saying is, whoever's leading the pack, which is probably the accountant at this point, has decided on where we're eating.
Probably for the best.
Big brain.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
what
no.
kind of
Bars,
place
the
does the
matches.
accountant look for?
I am looking for the type of upper class establishment that you will not find riffraff at, but you would find the more upper echelon, I
Hmm.
suppose.
You find your upper middle class kind of bureaucrats and whatnot, maybe office
Mm.
workers. Like
Oh.
no laborers at this place, but
Perfect.
Oh,
The kind of place that calls its patrons clientele.
oh.
Excellent.
I'm not exactly dressed for a place like this.
But it's probably clean.
But, I mean, I appreciate that. But still.
I assure you, they will cause you no trouble. I say to Miss Carter. And yeah,
Scoop. Gestures to the grime on this man's coat.
it'll likely need to be checked.
Alright.
And yeah, I'll head on in.
Oh, it feels like money in here.
so this is an establishment known as Andrimo's.
And Dreamos.
My new favorite restaurant.
And dreams. What do they do here?
They do what in another world of existence you might call Italian.
Oh,
Yeah,
see.
it's like this sylvan kind of noodles and sauce dishes of multiple varieties.
Perfection.
Or like these nice crisp breads with various like herbs and meats
All
and cheeses on
according
them.
to plan.
I see why you picked this place.
They do food I like.
Yes. Is it possible to get a place that's a little bit more discreet? I think I might need to take off my hat.
Not in understanding. Is there? I assume there's a maitre d' here.
Yes, yes. As you, there's a sign that says "Please wait to be seated," and the maitre d' walks up and like, "Oh, hello. Table for four?"
Yes, we would prefer something a little more private. I believe you have booths or rooms for such.
Of course, can do. Please follow
Very
me.
good.
And they lead you sort of to an area out of the main thoroughfare, like tucked away in a corner.
Excellent.
Walking along, do I recognize any of the people around? If they visited Lady Sanguis at all, or not really?
No one, you know, like no one you
Alright.
recognize.
What about Janus?
Oh yeah, I exist.
Janus
Yes.
may not recognize anyone, but he may be recognized.
That's
Yes.
why she.
It is true.
I think she like gestures at Scoop to kind of block him a little bit, or like kind of like tries to herd.
Yeah.
And we are
I-
led to a.
Yeah, yeah. As you're led to a small booth sort of tucked away in the corner, the maitre d' is like, "Your hats and coat."
I acquiesce, of course, taking off my jacket.
Yes, the one person who I don't have a different sprite for.
You're so mean. I am not making a
I'm not
non-jacket
expecting-
version of your
I'm
Oh,
not expecting
okay.
that. of you.
Mr. Scoop, would you mind parting with your coat for a moment?
Yes, just gonna grab a few things as I quickly hurry and grab like a small bundle of items and put my pack down by the side of the table.
Yeah.
And remove my jacket and trench coat, fold it in two, and hand it as a neat bundle.
Thank you.
Miss Cotter looks quite nervous as all of this is going on, and she sort of.
You do
Structures
not
to
have
that.
to.
Okay.
The mage use note.
I'll put it down.
Okay.
I'll put it. I just like to keep my things on me. Thank you.
They nod and go and take them towards what you assume is a coat rack or like near the door. As you came in, you noticed like some on the wall. There was a series of places to hang garments.
If you want to, we can go through the RP of ordering our food.
That's
Or we can say we order our food and drink appropriately
yes.
and just talk.
Yes. let's just do that.
That's fair.
Yeah, sounds good.
When Miss Cotta picks the chair that is blocked from the most view from all sides.
Yep.
I believe this is a private booth area that is just blocked from everywhere else.
But even the door.
Perhaps a pull thing.
It mostly like
Mm.
you the if you're standing like directly across from the booth,
Mm.
but you would have to be like the waiter or something to get to that sort of thing, like the
Cool.
All right. So regardless, she puts herself in the most easy to defend sort of spot at the table. And waits for everyone to sit down before she takes her hat off.
Janus has removed the tabard from over the top, the blue and gold, but he kind of looks at the buckles on the armor and goes, I'll be fine.
Scoop is enamored with his drink, as if it, when and if it's placed in front of him, and lifts the glass, look at the napkin underneath, and goes, "Huh. I assume it doesn't seem to be the place."
no.
Right, next. Oh, what the? How did you get here? As gesturing towards he's got it. Am I?
Hello, Mr. Scoop.
I rub my eyes. Soot comes out of my hands, mainly because they're already sooty.
I just like to keep a little bit more discreet when I'm on the street, if that makes sense.
I see.
Um,
I too am a master of disguise myself.
Nice
she
hat.
blinks once. She blinks once. Blinks again. Yes, I can see that, I guess. Yes, no, very useful. One of the few things I've kind of kept on me. But I would prefer if you don't mention me around other people. She looks kind of like nervously. She's very tense right now. Very visually, like you can see the line of tension in her back. If it weren't for the fact that she was blocked on all sides, she'd look like she was gonna bolt. And she's got a steady hand on like the edge of her umbrella.
Yeah. Luckily, you were hidden in quite well by the fact that most of your companions are larger than you.
Stupidly large. I suppose she would have picked the side that the accountant's on if it's like a square table, just because he is the largest and can block the majority.
2 on each side.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well,
In that case, I'll yield to you, Captain.
I thought it would be appropriate that we take a time to sit and gather what information we have. We have an advantage in that which we seek does not realize it is being sought. That is our first.
You were chasing them, weren't you?
I do not believe they were aware of my presence, and if they were certainly not aware of yours.
Most
It would
people
be
aren't.
unlikely that it is a secret that the accountant is around.
Yes.
But aside from that, it has been quite some time since we have all been together. And I wish to thank you for your time here today. Thinking back, it is... How That soiree certainly was an interesting time. You have all left a mark, so to speak. I thank you for joining me for this lunch.
Oh, that's rather benevolent of you, boss. She says.
It's nice to hang out somewhere where the food isn't poisoned.
She like pauses.
There are two
turns
types
to
of
the
people.
accountant.
Where have you all been eating?
Poisoned?
Anyway.
Nothing
know,
that I
at the-
have done.
At the party.
Oh, thank God. Oh, spirits.
The accountant smiles a little, and he says,
Do not worry. There is no poisoning going on without your knowledge.
Quiet you.
Yes. Well, if this is the case, to put your mind at ease, Miss Connor, please allow me. I put my notebook in front of you where it's plainly visible and you can see the notes I've been taking in the past minute or so, or on the page in front of it, and I tap it with the pen I'm holding, at which point the script vanishes from your sight. I go, please,
What?
and I hand the pen to all of you, please just click the end real quick.
I click it.
As you click the pen, the script becomes visible to you, the one that's clicked.
Oh,
It is now confidential.
what happens if you lose the pen?
I'll have to get another one.
Where you're from? This
Ah.
is rather good.
Well, it's less about the pen and more about me. You see, this is a legendary script. Only
Oh.
those I allow can see it.
I see.
I use my pen as sort of like a mechanical
conduit?
way of myself. Yes, that.
I see. It's rather useful. Does that mean that if you have any problems with anyone, you can just kind of cuss them out and then click and they don't know?
There may be one or two people roaming the neighborhood with some foul words on their forehead. He says in a confident tone, talking his chest slightly, not knowing the immaturity of his statement.
So
It's good to see you haven't changed, Mr. Scoop.
So if someone steps into an anti-magic field like the ones in the legal court, does the script disappear or does the disappearing disappear?
I say the disappearing disappears. That would be rather amusing.
It's suppressed. It doesn't vanish permanently.
Oh, I see.
I learned that the hard way when I had to testify in a case. Boy, did that make me look silly.
Oh dear. Well, regardless, we have a mission of sorts. This is very strange for me to say. I don't like the shakedowns that have been happening in this area. This area shouldn't see any of that sort of stuff. Supposedly, though if the Watcher are allowing it, they're definitely tarnished croppers.
Of this we are in agreement. That is what brings young Master Janus and I here. There is no place here for such behavior.
Tarnished copper. I'll have to remember that.
Oh, you're meaning police. I get it now.
Yes.
See, look for his notebook again.
There's bright copper, where they're fairly unblemished, and then there's tarnished. There's some that are
And there's
much
just
dirtier than
straight up
others.
bent.
You can melt copper too. I've done it.
Yes, so have I. Anyway,
Janus ponders this for an extra moment after everyone else has moved on.
As I see it, we have one lead of the guard whom you saw, this possibly tainted individual. We have the lead of this napkin and any possible origins it may have. Two descriptions of individuals known to have set these fires, along with the possible return of them to that chocolatier store. Do we have anything
If
else?
they come around every week, they said they come around every week. And if it's every week, then that implies that they're going to be coming over rather soon.
I turn to Janus.
Your instincts have proven well. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, you said something about sending a message before. This was them sending a message, maybe proving that they mean business. So they might come back today, but it's a little too busy. There's going to be guards around, there's going to be people watching. They could go back to their regular rounds and come back next week, but they'd be missing an opportunity. So it wouldn't be out of sorts for them to make a play tomorrow with what happened today fresh in everyone's mind. Right?
Thinking
Makes
back
sense.
on how this would be played, were it an operation I was a part of, would it be better to strike in the evening or in the morning?
If you were
Yeah.
as
Yeah. I don't know if like people also live in these stores, so like coming back at night if no one's there would be stupid. But
Yeah.
if people live there, then it's a lot less stupid and a lot more scary,
like,
making it more effective.
a lot of the shops in this area aren't necessarily live-in shops. Like a handful would have a room above them,
Mhm.
sort of thing.
Cool.
From what you know of these sort of things, it's better to go when you know A, there's less witnesses, B, when you're pretty sure that they will have coin on them. So after some business in the day has been done, at the very least.
Yeah.
So kind of, you may have a point there, Janus. It's more likely they will return after some business has been done, that the shops themselves have a store of cash that is available to them. And
I've
I
just
doubt-
had another thought. Sorry, you go on.
I was merely going to say this is not the sort of place where people are likely to stay at their place of employment overnight.
Speaking of night, these two individuals committed arson in broad daylight? During work
Sounded
hours?
like it was a heated. It sounded like it was a heated reaction. Literally.
So this wasn't
They-
someone who hadn't paid and then they were suffering the consequences. This is someone who was actively refusing to pay then and there.
Yeah. And by the sounds of things, if the general atmosphere of the one that I talked to, I believe it was the tabaxi person, they were very adamant about not paying and considered the arrogance of the people who wanted the money this insurance racket. And usually people who are just used to getting their way, when someone refuses them often enough and in the right way, you see her flinch a little bit and move her shoulders around. People used to get in their way tend to react badly when things go wrong for them. And they like to make demonstrations. She flinches again. Just tucks herself back a little bit more in the corner of her chair. And the bigger the reaction, the less likely it is to happen again.
Well, at the very least, I think we can rest safely in the knowledge that it is very unlikely this behavior will happen again.
I think Miss Cotter thinks of Lily. And at the forest. I really hope not. These people don't deserve this. No one deserves this.
As
I
Miss
have an idea. So we can check some of the shops if they haven't had a visit yet. And if I can get a hold of one of those sending stones, or two of those sending stones, we could set it up so the shopkeeper can call us or call someone when these two pay them a visit. And then we can make our move. Or follow them. Depending on what you three want to do.
Sending stones aren't cheap, though.
I
Janus
can acquire some.
Janus has a sly sort of smile across his face. So can I.
I can't.
Neither can I. I'm assuming the food comes at some point. I'd tuck in behind the accountant and clearly look at the wallpaper to make it look like I'm not looking.
Yeah.
So you can't see my face. When the waiter comes through and when they go back, she's very cagey right now. She hates this.
I am likened to agree with the young master. Yes, perhaps it will cost something. But when compared with any further attacks on these people, money is not that important.
Plus,
Well,
if
if
we
you
reused.
can. Well, I suppose if this is something going down, you'll have to find me at the manor or I'll pop out tomorrow. I have somewhere I have to be after this, I'm afraid. I mean, I could try and call up and make a stone call. See if she doesn't mind me coming back late tonight, but there's not.
Janus reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small sending stone.
Of course you have one on you. Why does this not surprise me?
It only connects to my father.
Oh, then I can't use it.
Not on its own. Oh, right. Yes. So I know where my father keeps his.
I see.
You have your father's on you?
Nope.
But I'm sure he will do.
Good thinking. Yes. Yes. We can borrow a very expensive magical item from your very politically correct father, and then use that in the course of an unsanctioned investigation. I like it. I'll write that in my notes.
Kata is just gestures, and then as soon as you're like, I like it, just crumbles. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Miss Carter, you have taken... Sorry.
No, you first.
Miss Carter, you have taken every possible caution and to avoid this. If you do not wish, you are under no obligation to continue this search.
She thinks of her hand being held by that sweet old lady. And like the moment in the flower shop. I don't think I have a choice, honestly. At least not if I'm gonna be able to walk back and sleep tonight thinking I'm an okay of a person.
Well, if anything goes wrong, and I kind of look around to all three of these people. I think it would be a reasonable thing for people to believe that my hands were involved in this, rather than any of
No.
yours.
You are not taking the blame for everyone here. Don't you dare.
Consider it adding to my resume.
No, I won't hear of it. If anyone's gonna be involved in a case going south and the police suspecting someone of screwing something up, it's gonna be the person most renowned for that in this city. My brother. Probably.
You have a brother?
I always blame it on my brother.
Oh. Did you get away with that when you were a kid too?
Yes, the trick is, I have so many, and I never say which.
How many brothers do you have?
Janus
Let's
just
not talk about
loses it. He just completely loses his composure. Like, there's pasta sort of half in his mouth at this point.
I'm not gonna lie, actually, I think that pops me. I think the accountant chuckles a little, seeing Janus start laughing, half mouthful of food.
Okay. What am I going to do with you?
So, this is
Oh, you've
delicious.
got some on your. She reaches out a jacket.
He kind of
What are you
flinches
chuckling about?
ineffectually.
And what are you talking about?
Oh, it's just occurred to me. We don't even need the sending stone. What was it?
Making
You
we're
called it
making a spell stone?
a stakeout.
Stone? Yes. Well, monitoring
we
is
could-
a nicer
we
way to put it. There's no stakes involved, as far as I know. Maybe if vampires were involved.
Yes, but if it's a vampire, you usually do the stake in.
Well,
Well,
perhaps some of us can perform this stakeout. I believe Miss Cotter does have to return to her place of employment.
I do. Unless I can call up, but I don't have a spellstone on. And I need to get to the closest watch center where the public ones are.
Do I have one of these devices that literally would do what is being asked?
Like a, it's like a scrying orb or something.
Wait, are you
I know
asking?
we've established. Yeah, sorry, I am. I know we've established that I do have one. I'm just not sure if it's like locked to one other specific thing, or if it can be used more widely, or.
You
How does that land?
the way these stones work is you need to know like sort of a code or combination to connect to another one.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to know like
The number.
the number.
A series of
A
arcane sigils.
Yeah, the stone number.
Yes,
So.
the stone number.
Yeah, in which case I will pull out mine and offer it to Miss Cotter. If you would like, you may use this one, presuming you know the code.
Trust me, I give it out often enough when I'm talking to the legal folk. Think they'd actually know how to write something down, given how much contractual bullshit they put us through. All right, I'm gonna call up work. I'm gonna call into work.
You call up.
I'm sick.
You call up. The Sanguis townhouse.
Arcane sigil for fire. Arcane sigil for one arcade sigil. I suppose I'm picturing it as like you trace the sigil onto this flat stone.
Yeah.
Trace. She does this very quickly.
Nate answers. Hello? Sanguis residence? How can I direct your...
Nate, it's me.
Oh, Miss Cotter, hi.
Oh, you sound stressed. What happened?
Nothing?
What does nothing mean, Nate?
I've cleaned it up, it's all good. We're good.
What's cleaned it up mean, Nate?
I made a mess.
What kind of mess, Nate?
I spilled some flour base. It didn't break, it just the water and flowers went everywhere.
Was there anything important that it spilled on, or was it just the floor? Was it into the carpet?
It didn't get in the carpet.
Alright. But there's a but there.
No. It's so clean. Flowers fine.
Is the mistress available, or is she busy right now? I might be a little bit.
She's just talking to some of the renovators.
Alright. I was just going to let you know, I might be a wee bit late tonight. Dinner's, you can ask Kit for dinner.
Yep.
I wanted to check if it was alright. Do you think it'll be alright if I am out for the evening?
I can ask the lady. She's busy right now, but I can have her call you back.
Oh, this isn't mine. I look over to the accountant. Is it alright to give her your sigil? Are you sure?
Of course.
Alright. I'm gonna have to ask you what your
I
sigil
write it
is on.
down. I write down the series
Yeah.
of sigils that belongs to my phone and hand it over.
Yeah.
Alright.
Nate,
You may use my
Um,
pen.
writes that down when you relay it to him.
Yeah, I relay it to him. Be like, now this number is private. Don't you dare give this out to anyone other than the mistress. Do you hear me? Or else you're in big trouble.
Understood.
Good. Just don't spill anything else before I get back, please. You're doing really well. I think you're doing an amazing job. But, I mean, I suppose actually I'd be happy to have some work to do when I get back. But still. Alright,
Okay.
thank you, I guess. And I'll see you later.
See you later, Miss Cotter.
Or hopefully, yeah. I click. Tap?
There's
Honk? Crunch? What
It's-
what noise does it?
Hold your palm face down over the device.
so it's a slap.
So,
Maybe.
slap.
Talk to the
I-
hand.
passes it over. She'll call back by the sounds of things. Thank you.
Of course. Kind of slide the little piece of paper with the sigils on it a little bit more towards, and I say, in case you need it for something, I'm usually accessible.
Are you sure?
Of course. Please.
Okay, in case of an emergency, I guess. And she folds it up and tucks it into her basket. I don't really have something to give you back though. But I suppose you know what I look like. And what I also kinda look like. And what I secretly look like. So I suppose that works.
Well, this lunch has been excellent. We
couple options. We can stake out the areas surrounding where that fire was and the other shops we believe to be targeted next. Alternatively, we could track down that guard that we believe to be bought, if you will, and ask them some questions.
Me neither either.
Admittedly, I am more inclined towards action rather than waiting, but
That's fair. I mean,
I've always found waiting gets me results. I'm happy to do a stakeout.
I'm happy for either. And if we're going to have to divide up who goes with who. Actually, I'm gonna need your phone, so I mean your stone. Just in case the mistress calls. So I suppose I'd go with you.
That leaves you with me, Janus. Yes. Let's who's ready for a stakeout? I'll even bring steaks, both kinds.
Hell yeah!
Should we leave them alone? Is that going to be alright?
That's
Yes.
okay, we'll be okay.
But I think it's alright.
I think Janus can keep Scoop out of trouble for a while.
That's fair. He seems to have grown into some
Exactly.
responsibility. Under that.
And
Well,
as you finish up your meals and make your way,
I'll take care of the check.
very nice. You have
She wants to. She tries. Money try. Fail.
we will wrap up there for this session. So sorry for the raiders that just came in. We've
Thank
reached the end of
you.
session 2 of Arkpoint, but the next session shall be the 20th, Sunday the 20th of February, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So excited for that.